Resistance of letting go of your twin flame robs you of your power. In this video, we're going to talk about a 5-step process that I wish I'd actually known sooner for myself. It's something I have kind of mapped out in my own journey that I want to share with you. So let me answer the question, why are you focusing on what you don't want? So in this case, we're talking about letting go of your twin flame. And obviously you don't want that. You're resisting that. So the key is to go into your resistance so that you can look in the resistance of what are you resisting? The resistance is blocking you from getting what you want. So I'm going to use a little bit different scenario, a little something simpler than the twin flame as an example. So let's just use financial stability for a moment, because that's an easy one everybody can understand. That I am focusing on something that I don't want to be, and that would be I feel lack, limitation. I don't feel prosperous. I don't feel like I have financial security. And so what you do is you go through life and you're focusing on the idea that what's missing, that you don't have enough money maybe to pay the bills, or that you don't have what it is that you need. And so you're staying in more of a survival mode. So when you link that to the twin flame and the twin flame concept and your resistance to letting go, there's a sense underneath of that that says, I'm missing something, I'm lacking something, and I'm letting this go because inside of me, I don't have the love in me that I desire. So at the end of the day, what you have to learn how to do is you have to learn how to basically have, be, do, become, and inside of you have what you want. So if you were wanting financial security, you need to come into a place of being financially secure, and you have to become it before what is going to show up to bring it for you for the outside. And that is for yourself or anyone to even show up for you. So a lot of people they want to create and manifest, say, somebody to show up to support them for love, or somebody to show up and support them in the financial area. But the problem is, if you don't have it inside of you and you can't do it for yourself, then no matter who shows up or what aligns in that is not going to come into a place of alignment, because you're not it. And so speaking of alignment, I want to thank all of you for your being on board with my new series that I'm going to, my whole goal this year, my word is the unity, and to help you become united within through some of the things and the latest and up-to-date lessons that I've been experiencing over the last year, and even to share my journey of coming into this alignment or unity within, so I can teach you the same. So if you're on board with alignment, please put the word alignment and or oneness in the comment below, because I'm trying to really make a connection with you guys, really show up and teach you some strategies that's going to help you take your ability to become your best version to the next level. So let's jump into the first step. The first step to understand is that there's contrast in everything that exists. These are the laws of the universe. And so because of that, it is polarity. And it is also knowing that the contrast is what drives you to a place of knowing what you don't want. And a lot of times you can't recognize what you want until you know what you don't want. So one of the things I saw with all my mirrored teachers, all my mirrored souls that were coming in as fragments of myself, they technically were showing me all the things I didn't want, that then showed me how I wanted it within myself, my life, and my lover, so that I could put that energy into a place that I'm redirecting the energy. If you continue to focus on what it is you don't want and you leave it in that place, through the law of consciousness, the law of mentalism, and the projection of that, you're actually creating more of what you don't want, because it's so fixated, it's so focused. I mentioned, my crystal ball and the sunlight coming through the beam and all of that power immersed into and through the crystal ball onto the wooden stand, and it caught on fire when the sunlight came up the next day because I set it on the deck at night in the moonlight. So know that if you're directing your attention and knowing also that that gets stronger as you become more aware, you become more powerful, you become more conscious of what you're doing. So now the energy that you have is coming from a higher place. And when you direct and project into that area, you can detest all you want all day long. And that's where a lot of people also do in this resistance, is resisting the idea that I am not going to put up with that. I am not going to, have this in my life. I am not going to get into these situations again. And all of that energy is creating everything you don't want. So what you need to do then is you need to realize that that contrast exists and it's only showing you what you don't want, but you don't need to keep pushing. It's the push that's pushing. Resistance equals resistance. So when you resist, your inability to let go of your twin flame in this case, that resistance of holding on is actually creating the force that's pushing away what you don't want. So the key in that would be then in step number 2 is for you to use that energy, that opposition, to become who it is you are. So what I mean by that, that's really deep. So I'm going to give you an example with my father in this, because technically my father was, a very smart, loving man. He's probably one of the most balanced men that's ever been in my life, to the level that I would say he was balanced. It was just that him and I came at things from opposite ends, and we saw things from 2 perspectives, which is this whole twin flame journey. So technically, you're in alignment with a twin flame when it's more in opposition than it is in, harmonization, because the opposition is bringing to you the other side of you haven't acknowledged yet, which is helping you become who you're supposed to be. So as I was saying, in my father's case, he basically was very religious and very opinionated and very expressive. Now, I basically didn't realize it, but it set me up for sabotage myself, in a sense that it was unconscious, but I just knew I didn't want to be like that. And because I didn't want to be like that, it actually helped me become more spiritual, more awakened, more open-minded. But on the flip side of that, my resistance to it caused me to shut down and not open up that expressive side, because he was so expressive, I didn't want to be that way. So it can go both ways. So in the resistance, say with your twin flame in that opposition, if, let's kind of back this up a minute. So they're coming in and they're basically they're rejecting you. Let's use that one as a really good one. So they're rejecting you, and in the contrast, you don't want to be rejected. You want to be accepted, so to speak, which in that then is showing you don't want that in a person. But if you continue to allow that to happen with that person, then what you want, and then what you're allowing from the universe or your circumstances, and not standing in your power and standing up and knowing and believing that you deserve better, is actually then preventing you from getting that, because you're settling and you're sending the mixed signal. But use it as an opportunity, as I said, to be like, okay, I don't want that. So let me redirect that energy. Let me redirect that attention that's going to help me know then on the opposite end that I don't want to be rejected. I want to be loved. So now in the 1, you're using the contrast to drive you into knowing what you don't want. Number 2 is you're allowing yourself to accept, honor, and become the opposite of that. So acceptance versus rejection. And that really brings us into the 3rd one, which is accepting then the side of yourself you've resisted within yourself. So in that, then the 3rd part of this is, if they're rejecting you, you're rejecting yourself. By you not permitting them to reject you, then you're coming into a place of accepting yourself, and that is showing more power for yourself. In a sense, you're standing up, showing up, speaking up, and setting some boundaries, and most importantly, believing that you can have what you desire. So now what happens is in number 4, this is where it gets interesting, because you just expanded yourself from self-rejection through them rejecting you to fully energetically coming into your power and saying, I deserve better than this. But what people tend to do in that is they go all or nothing. They go into a place, well, if I can't have you, then I don't want you in my life, and I'm going to cut you, I'm going to block you, I'm going to ghost you, I'm going to not answer your calls. When I say block, like not energetically, of course, but, social media, like just the list goes on. But know that it's not even those actions that matter. It's your energy that's blocking, not just them, but you accepting the side of yourself. I'm going to give you another example of this. So on one end, the all or nothing can be most spiritual people that's been very, in places of perfectionism, or working hard, or doing things the hard way, and then realizing like, oh, I don't want to be that anymore. So now what I want to be is I want to be free, flowing, and flexible, right? And this is another example of what I'm saying. So I go from being this person that is doing everything the hard way to saying, I don't want to do that. I want to go over here and do everything easy. But the problem is, this is two sides of us, and that's expanding who we are. But we need to neutralize, which is the fourth one I'm talking about, is neutralize the polarities, so that it's not about being all or nothing. It's about being both. It's about going from a place of, I need my certain parts of my, masculine power to get things done, but it's okay to do it with grace. And as I went through my process of this, I literally came into, kept hearing the words power and grace, so that you're gracefully flowing and that you're really embodying here both sides. And that's another key word in this, is because you're living it out in demonstration of your actions, your thoughts, your feelings, and you're becoming it. So you're showing up in the ways you want. And when you show up in the ways you want is when you get what you want. So in the fifth way, then what this is really doing is it's expanding you physically and your physical being. It's expanding you mentally. It's expanding you emotionally, expanding your heart in that. It's expanding you spiritually. And what you're doing then is the resistance of letting go of your twin flame in this is blocking you from opening up and receiving the love you actually want. So to recap that, through the process of now resisting letting go of your twin, really come into this place of letting go of your resistance and going back to what I said in the question is, what are you resisting? Why are you resisting letting them go? It's not about letting them go. It's your resistance to letting them go that's blocking you from being able to connect to the opposite side of you for this expansion, that then until you connect to that opposite side, you can't accept that opposite side. And then in that, now you're neutralizing the sides, and then that's creating the expansion of all of you, which is creating the container that you need to elevate your frequency in order to really have the love you want. So in that, I would recommend that, when it comes to letting go of the twin flame, one of the first things I would say is, don't think that you can only get that feeling from that one person or that kind of love, because the depths of what they're showing you is the depths of yourself, and it's an energy connection that's creating an energy activation that's up-leveling you anyway, so that you can clear out the energetic blocks that's then bringing attention to other patterns. So if you're going into that place of the OCD mind, which most people do, if I can't stop thinking about them, then what that's doing is showing you already have an addictive personality, and you already have a connection to OCD tendencies and perfectionisms. And at the end of the day, it's about you letting go of that control, that you're hanging on to the control. And then that goes back to the resistance. Why am I controlling this? What is it in the situation that I'm trying to control? When you uncover that block, you then will let go of your resistance and let go of the twin flame, and then you're going to collect your power. You're going to stand up, dust yourself off, and you're going to keep moving forward in the direction of your highest good to become your highest version of your destiny and live out your best life. And that dance is going to go on inside of you, that's going to dance around you, and you're not going to miss anything, because I can promise you, with the revolving door of head, I've been able to make that dance with several people. And I'm going to keep showing up and sharing more of how I navigated that. So with that being said, I'd like to invite you. I have a few spots and seats open for my free vision quest that's going to take place this Saturday on the 14th to reset your cosmic clock, and it's going to have an activation. I'm going to show you 5 steps for you to align with universal principles that's going to allow you to co-create a life that you love, and teach you how that everything in the universe ebbs and flows according to the natural laws and rhythms. And for you have a plan, the universe has a plan, and how you can merge those plans. And when I say the universe has a plan, your higher self has a plan, that you signed up to experience certain things. And it's about merging all these plans into oneness as you let go of what's not serving you going forward. And the minute you get these things in alignment and we activate that within you, then you're able to move forward freely, flowing towards your destiny, and everything will migrate to you. So I hope to see you then, and I'll see you next week in the video. May you always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Namaste.